I have Jan on the line, and I have Ian and Bodie is here. So
So right now, the 13, 14, 15, 16.
Excellent. And if I could, I'll just let the audience know, and for the record, because of the remote call-in from our chairwoman, she's asked that our vice chair run this evening's meeting. So Ian Durden would be the vice chair running the meeting today. So Paul, if we're live, go ahead, Ian, and open up the meeting.
All right, thank you everyone for joining us this evening for Globe City Planning and Zoning Commission on this evening of July 8th. So first up, we wanted to, on business, is consideration to approve the June 16th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Actually, Ian, can we do roll call first?
Oh, sorry, yes. We'll begin with roll call.
Okay.
All present. We'll start here with
Bodie Curvin,
Hi, I'm here.
Commissioner Ian Durnan,
here.
Jan Shumway.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you. And first up here is to the consideration to approve the June 16th, 2021 meeting minutes. Can I get a motion from one of my fellow commissioners to approve?
I'd like to make a motion.
All right. So
I can second that motion.
and okay, great. Thank you. Motion and seconded. Thank you. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the motion is approved. All right, next we're going to, I wanted to bring up item 1C next here. It's the consideration to initiate a text amendment to the Globe City Zoning Code to permit on-site temporary construction offices and security trailers for sites with an active building and/or grading permit. So just to table this for another meeting, unless, there's any other commentary you had there, Dana, or any of my fellow commissioners at this time. Okay, no comments?
Chairman, or Vice Chair, I recognize the commission, some commissioners would like more time to consider that item or review that prior to discussion on it. So with that, if one of the commissioners would like to make a motion to table, we'll table that till a meeting on certain time, and we'll bring it back up for you.
Can I ask one question prior to that?
Go on, sorry.
I just wanted to ask about, I know we talked about it some as far as the length of time. Was there any, do we have any idea of what we're looking at possibly for the length of time, the trailers, kind of having a limit?
There is a limit in the text that's explained in the staff report.
All right, thank you.
So yeah, we can definitely.
And I can spend a little more time with you or provide additional information on that in a future agenda item, Commissioner Curvin, if you'd like to table this item.
Yes, sir. I would like to make a motion to table this item.
Right, thank you. So Bodie Gerben making a motion to table, and then can I get a second to that motion? Can I second that motion?
Oh, I second, sorry. I second that motion.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Commissioner Jen. Great. So all in favor to table that discussion to our next planning and zoning meeting, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion approved. All right. So now the item we've all been waiting for here this evening is 1B, which is the continuation of the June 16th, 2021 public hearing and consideration of case number UP 21-03, which is a request for a conditional use permit to allow a 6-unit multiple dwelling land use and management office in the C3 Central Commercial Zoning District pursuant to zoning code 14-5-12B3B for the property located at 792 West Ash Street, and that's County Assessor Parcel number 208-03-288. So we'll go ahead and open the floor at this point for hearing if there's any public commentary at this time.
Vice Chair, as somebody might be approaching the podium to speak in the public hearing for this item, I'll just give you a quick update. As was included in your staff reports, staff did receive some information regarding how this facility would operate and who it would serve. And that information that we received is both in your staff report and as well about 2 weeks ago, soon after we received the information from the applicant. That information was forwarded to the interested parties that were part of the last meeting and expressed and/or had emailed me previously to express interest in the case. So that information provided by Gila House has been distributed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And at this point, we'd like to open it up for a public hearing if you think that that's the next thing that we should do here. Dana.
The public hearing is still open because we continued it from the last meeting. So if anybody from the audience would like to speak to this item, please approach the podium and state your name and make your statements.
Oh, it's working, Paul.
If there is no one to speak on this item, we can go ahead and close the public hearing.
Dana Stella's coming down.
We just have one.
Can, yeah. And then, Linda, can you make sure her mic's on?
Good evening, I'm Stella Brigette. I own the tap room next door to the property you guys are talking about. I only have a few questions. I understand this transition housing is supposed to last like two years, helping people get on their feet. My thing is, it's supposed to be like a single person or a couple. What if the single person becomes a couple? Are they going to be evicted? What's the deal on that? Sometimes if you become a couple, then you have a family, because then you have somebody who's going to have a baby. What do they do about that? Are they evicted? Are they given another place to live? Like I said, if it's transitional housing, how does that work?
So if I could respond, and based on the last hearing, they had mentioned that they had a circumstance in a similar transitional home that they had to advise the person that their significant other could not remain in the house, or a new boyfriend or something like that. So we would anticipate that same scenario. However, through this zoning process, if a couple's placed in that home or they get pregnant, that's going to be the Gila House's responsibility to manage whether or not there's a child there. So the city would not get involved, or through the zoning, our zoning regulations and police power, that's zoning is a police power, we can't differentiate what's a family, being one person, a couple, or a couple and a child, or several children. So the city is not authorized, or can't legally get involved with what's a family. We have a definition of what a family is, and this is for 6 units residential units. So, we need to honor our zoning definition of what a family is, and that's related individuals.
So there'll be somebody on site to monitor all these people that are living.
And I think hopefully, Stella, you've had time to review the information that they provided, but they do provide a level of oversight. Ultimately, I know they said they wanted an office there, but I don't know if that's part of the initial request. But they do explain their protocol in their narrative of it's how they oversee and maintain the property to ensure it's maintained in a good orderly manner.
Okay, and if I have a complaint about anything that's going on over there, who would I go to?
The city.
The city?
Myself, yes, you can give me a call. Yeah, that would be easiest. But you do have their number and their information if you choose to call them directly. It's on the letter and the information that they provided us that I forwarded to you. But I would be happy to, if you don't feel you need to make that have that conversation with them, feel free to give me a call. I'd be happy to speak with them or any city manager or any other member of staff that would be happy to get involved.
Like Mickey and I and the other people that were here last week, they wouldn't have anything to do with if I had a complaint. It's supposed to be their organization, right?
Dana,
Correct. It is their organization.
Dana, just for clarification, I think that Ms. Burgett is talking about after if the project was to complete
Yeah, it's complete.
and the families were living there and neighbors had a complaint, they would go to Gila House, correct?
No, so this is a conditional use permit, and the city's authorizing special permission to these people. You certainly could go to them, and you have their contact to talk to them about it, or you can contact the city, depending on what the complaint is or violation. But as zoning administrator, it's my responsibility to ensure that the property is being operated consistent with what is before the planning commission today, which includes, should the commission wish to move forward, I would recommend that they include a condition to adhere to the narrative information that's been provided, or we'll attach that as part of that, a part of the permit. Which gives the city myself the ability to enforce their oversight as they described it.
If I went to the city, who would I go to?
Like I said, myself, or just contact Paul, and he'll make sure the city manager's sitting there, and he'll make sure you get to the correct person to make a complaint. We'd like to make sure we get well ahead of that. So if you think if there's a problem out there, we can please contact myself, Dana Burkhart, and you have my information from my emails.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burgett, for your time. Thank you for coming over this evening and for your question. Is there anyone else with any other questions or comments? All right. And
No further comments, then you can close the public hearing. Vice Chair.
comments at this time, we'll go ahead and close this public hearing.
And now the commission's welcome to discuss. Before, I'll just also add that because this is a conditional use permit, it's an extra or another added license basically the city's issuing that can also be revoked. The whole purpose of a special or a conditional use permit is to implement conditions for a use like this that isn't necessarily consistent with other uses in the area, and requires some level of discretion and review to ensure that it's operated in a positive manner. So this is if there is a problem, staff can bring this back to the planning commission to reconsider down the road. It's a good mechanism for this type of use.
That's good. And one thing as, we're discussing just that gives me great confidence in this organization. And I think Ms. Burgett you have a great point, just wondering, well, if there is some kind of a living situation where, someone else moves in under that roof with them, that could, cause a, kind of a possible ruckus or, discomfort, mess things up in that area. And one thing that gives me great confidence in Gila House are that, you have Debbie Cox. I know that she has a lot of experience with property management, and I think her and I know that Mr. Nye as well, they seem to be they're very detail oriented, very diligent folks. And I think that they'll be keeping a close eye on those types of situations where I know that they mentioned that last time that we had a hearing on it was that they were going to be pulling a certain amount of a person's income if they apply to live in Gila House. They have to have some type of extenuating circumstance. They have to have, sounds like, a clean record, and then they are also looking at their income level and whatnot. So it sounds like they're being pretty diligent and making sure that it's a quality applicant and a quality person that's coming in the area. So at least from my perspective, I think they're pretty strongly led. And I do like the idea of adding a provision, that only the applicants and their family, that whoever originally applies to live there, I'm sure if an applicant were to have a child or something like that, that'd be different. But I'm sure that would be something good to just have spelled out. Whoever applies originally, these are the folks that should be here, and except, maybe the case if they have a little one. So just a thought. Yeah, go ahead.
Vice Chair, if I could, I just reviewed the letter again for the narrative. And the very first item provided by the Gila House states, Gila House Inc.'s new affordable housing project can be used for singles and the elderly. I would, again, if you entertain a motion, I would recommend that we include adherence to the narrative that they provided us.
I think that would be great. I think that would be really good. Yeah, to keep it as single and elderly as they mentioned. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Any other questions or comments from you, Bodie or Jan?
I was just going to kind of caveat along with that, the oversight, I feel, just from the discussion last time, that it's well watched. And as far as will be vetting or qualifying, screening applicants, it seems like, especially Ms. Cox was saying with her years of experience and so forth. I mean, anyone can miss it, but it sounds like even if they did so, they would take care of that if something got out of the ordinary. I know this is really important to them, and it sounds like they're going to do it right. And hopefully, and I'm thinking everyone in the surrounding area, it'll all, I think, work out well.
Are there any comments there from you, Jan?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Jan. All right, with that, let me take a look here. So yes, at this point, we can go ahead and would anyone like to motion to approve item 1B for this conditional use permit case number UP 21-03? Can I get a motion to approve?
I motion to approve, sir.
And then can I get a second?
Second that motion.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Jen. So it's approved. We have a motion and a second, and all in favor to approve, please say aye.
Vice Chair, if I could, prior to your vote, just clarify that includes the 4 conditions of approval listed in your staff report, as well as the 2 conditions first discussed last time. The applicant will work with the city to provide a screening location for their trash enclosure sometime in the future, and then the applicant will adhere to the narrative provided to the city as well.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, so the
Thank you.
would be to include those 2 items, yeah, for the trash as well as for the narrative, and then those 4 points there, which I know that we discussed the prior meeting with the folks, the representatives of Gila House. so this would include those 6 recommended motions and as part stipulations of the motion. So with that, just to reiterate, can I get a motion to approve?
A motion to approve.
And can I get a second on that?
I second that motion.
Thank you so much, Dan. All right, and all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and with that, the motion passes. Thank you all so much, and I believe that concludes our meeting this evening.
Very good. I think one last item is the motion to adjourn.
Oh, yes. Can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting this evening?
Motion to adjourn the meeting, sir.
All right, great. Thank you, and may I have a second to that?
I second that motion.
Great. Thank you so much there, Jan. And with that, we adjourn this meeting this evening. And thank you all so much for taking your time and sharing your feedback. So thank you.
Thank you, ladies.